Alright guys, PA Farms here, Saturday, August the 8th. It's about 8 o'clock at night, 80 degrees temperature. And things could be looking better, but they're not. Go up a little higher here. I want to get to about the top. That's your work. Okay, so summary. It's been 3 weeks since my last video. I think I was talking about a drought. I shared some pictures. Since that video, it got very dry. The corn was pollinating, and about a week and a half of pretty severe drought. I mean, no rain for 3 weeks and 90+ degree weather. It looked pretty sad. Now since then, we had the hurricane and a tropical storm come through, had a couple other storms come through. We got 5 inches total from that hurricane, which is one of the nice things here about the Northeast is tropical storms and hurricanes. Now in the case of 2018, that was not a good thing. So I'm up here now. Just want to see if the pollination was affected with that drought. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the camera off because I need 2 hands. I want to pull a cob. I'm looking for the driest spot on top. Since we've gotten that rain, there is soil moisture now. I mean, 5 inches, yeah, that's mud. 5 inches of rain, it woke everything up. I mean, overnight the corn just brought up some of that moisture. We did have a 1/4 inch shower that went through way back about in the height of the drought, and that 1/4 inch of rain was not enough to uncurl the corn. I mean, you guys have seen dry corn. It's but 1/4 inch wasn't enough to cut it. So I don't know. I'm just wondering, with the tassel and the pollination, did the corn survive the drought of 2020 here, at least where I'm at. Mine isn't the worst looking stuff. The worst looking stuff, of course, is the stuff that was even planted earlier, and that stuff really got hammered. And the stuff that was planted even later than mine, I think will make a full recovery, but I'll come back with you here in a second. All right, so corn planted May 20th, and this is August 8th. This is what's kind of typical a little bit here. You'll see there's some places here that didn't pollinate, a little spotty here and there. So yeah, this you can tell it definitely had some heat stress, dry conditions. Like I say, for the amount of weeks it was hot, it was very hot. We had a really hot summer so far. And with that heat, not having any rain during pollination, that's the worst possible time to be experiencing something like that. But anyway, the way I understand it, in real dry conditions, the silks here that come out, now these silks will get pollinated with the pollen here from the tassels. The silks, one corn plant, I think I read somewhere, one corn plant has enough pollen to pollinate 12 plants. But in drier conditions, the silks themselves do not push out as far as they normally would. They're a little bit shorter. Now, one thing that, according to this article, the pollen is kind of kicked into overdrive during very dry conditions, so it will pollinate more pollen, and that kind of I'm guessing it might help compensate for the shorter silks, because these are usually what is typical of seeing here. The silks are usually hanging down pretty far. So yeah, this is there is some evidence there of pollination. But we're only on August 8th, so we have a way to go yet until this is ready. Like I say, May 20th, I think it was. I have to go back and check, but this would have been the driest spot. So anything lower than this, I'm hoping did a little bit better moisture wise. Shorter corn, I did say that. I think the corn is very short this year. I mean, it's, I'd say on average 7 feet tall. Usually you can get the first, I'll just say the first 3 years that I had corn, it was 12 feet tall or more. But yeah, 7 foot tall corn this year. So, and it's not, height really doesn't mean yield. So we'll have to see how that turns out. But just looking here, I think the conventional fertilizer, the top dressing with 30%, that corn does look better than the chicken manure. I'm thinking the failure there was the probably the lack of rain. When you're not working the manure in, you're just spreading it on the surface and letting the rainwater take it in. If you don't get rain, so I don't know, it might be a blessing too. There's a lot of nitrogen. I don't know if this is drought related, but it to me that looks like nitrogen deficiency. So, well, I did put a fair amount of manure on here. I think the problem was definitely not enough rainfall to work it in. Yeah, I can still see quite a bit of manure that I had spread just sitting on the surface there. So who knows, with this rain that we got now, I don't know how much more nitrogen it has to take up yet, but we'll have to see. It's always something. Last year was a pretty good year. We did have a dry spell last year. I don't mind one dry spell during the growing season, and I don't know if this is just some old farmer tale or what, but I always understood it. If you got a dry spell at least one time, it forces the roots to go down further into the ground to seek out moisture, and it gives the corn a better foundation when we get those September, October hurricane season, basically the high winds, and gives the corn a little bit more of a deeper root instead of a shallower root. So with 3 weeks of no rain and 90 degrees, this corn should be pretty well sure-footed here. So I don't know. I just drove down to look at my soybeans that I'm very embarrassed of. They just look, they look dreadful. Not only the weeds, but there's so many holes in the leaves. I don't know if we had some type of bug this year with the drier weather or what to say, but it's not like it usually is. This year something's different. It must be the drought. Something's different with a lot of things this year. Short corn and soybeans they're really, I think the drought, I can't say that it hurt them to the point where they're destroyed, but they're really more yellow than they usually are. So I'm not sure what's going on there yet. But the corn it is what it is. Here, it looks pretty good here. I mean, that some pretty nice stuff there, and it's like it is every year. Good spots and bad spots, and that's pretty well the same for everybody. But I think we survived. I mean, it's not there are places I have personally seen that the corn was totally brown. It looked like fall. A lot of guys were just going to chop it for silage and try to salvage what they could. We were lucky, we really were. I mean, this here looks good. I have some really bad spots. I have some that's only waist high and tasseled. So I don't know, definitely not something to be proud of this year, but who knows. Like I say, it's only August 8th, and a November harvest is still a little ways away. So I have had guys tell me that they have harvested corn that did really, really well, and it was less than 6 feet tall. So who knows? But from what I'm seeing, it is just so spotty. Too dark to see on the camera. What I'm trying to illustrate here is, why is that there 7 feet tall and this is about 4 feet tall, and then it goes back to 7 feet tall, unless the water just didn't run that way when it rained, I don't know. But thank goodness we got rain, and we got plenty of it. 5 inches of rain over the course of a week. So not too much, not too little. The ground, that first storm was 2 inches, and the ground soaked that up no problem. But we'll see. It's a strange year for sure, at least for me, compared to the last 3. So I did have some guys say that the one theory, see, the ground never really froze last winter. We had such a mild winter, and the ground never froze really solid. I mean, it was warm, and without that frost, in a no-till situation, if it was a little wet at harvest and you had machinery running through the fields at harvest causing compaction, you didn't have the frost in the winter helping you. It could be a little compacted in spots too, maybe, because it was definitely wet at harvest. So that's a possibility too. That's something that could be going on, but I don't know. It's like I say, everything looks weird this year. We haven't had a drought in a while. Really haven't. So to see it again, I mean, this corn has totally changed color, totally changed. The leaves are open back up again, they're wide compared to what it was last week. What a change. So just in husking this, I mean, the water was running out of the husk. I mean, it pulled it up quick. So we'll have to see here. So I don't count this as a failure on my part, because again, I'm dealing with the one variable I have no control over, and this year it just decided to be dry, whereas 2018 decided to be give us over 6 feet of rainfall in 1 year. But within the last 4 years, to have an extremely wet year and a drought, it's be nice to have some regular weather. But that is one thing here with the Northeast, is we are affected by these hurricanes and tropical storms, whereas some people more inland aren't. I mean, like here, I mean, look at that corn. That's not even knee-high with tassels. I think that could be compaction. I don't know. And the beans, I don't know why they're so wavy and spotty like that. I mean, there's beans there. The pods are good. It did nodulate pretty good, so I think we'll be all right. We'll get some beans, but I don't know what in the world. All the holes in the leaves. I mean, that's a first for me. I mean, 3 years of growing them here, or this is the 4th year growing them, and over at the other farm I grew some. I never had all those holes in the leaves like that. So I don't know if just because of the drought we had some other insect that flourished or what, but I didn't put any insecticide on. I usually didn't because I never had a problem, but looks like on dry years, note to self. Alright, so I don't know what kind of year 2020 is going to bring here. It's going to definitely be something we're going to have to wait and see, but we've done all we can do. It's up to Mother Nature and anything else. So, alright guys, I'll see you on the next video here from PA Farms. Thank you for watching.